So you want to buy used RV like this one, or that one, or maybe even this one, but you don't want to get screwed over or scammed? I'm going to teach you how to vet a used RV like a detective so that dream rig doesn't turn into a rolling crime scene. To get started, did you know? Most people don't buy a used RV, they buy a rolling debt trap wrapped in shiny fiberglass. I spent years as a mortgage banker and I've seen $500,000 homes collapse because of a $100 leak. But an RV is a tiny house that survives a natural disaster literally every time you hit the interstate. Today, I'm giving you the ultimate vetting guide so you can buy with zero regrets and zero scams. Phase 1. Digital vetting. Before you even burn a gallon of diesel, you have to survive the digital mirage. The catfish test. Take their photos and run a reverse image search. If that pristine Airstream is listed in 5 or 10 different states by 5 different private sellers, you aren't looking at an RV, you're looking at a bait and switch. Bait and switch, run, go, buy, it's over. The gas station sushi rule. If the price is 40% below market value, it's the gas station sushi of RVs. Congratulations. It looks fine in the plastic wrap, but I promise it's going to rot you from the inside out. Real deals are rare. Scams are an epidemic. They're everywhere. The background check. Look at the background of the photos. Does the foliage match the seller's location? If they're in Arizona, but there are palm trees and humidity fogged windows in the shot, run. Phase 2. The seller interview. When you call, you aren't just asking questions, you're performing a financial interrogation. The proof of life. Scammers use stock videos. Ask for a 10-second clip of them opening the fridge and saying your name. This is a 10-second proof of life video for Mr. Buyer. Madden King or Mr. Buyer. Simple as that. If they make an excuse, the rig doesn't exist. You have to remember, this is your money, and RVs aren't cheap. So you want to do your due diligence before you hand over the money. So most sellers are going to be motivated to sell. If they have an issue doing something as simple as that, there's a problem. The maintenance stack. A rig without service records is like a person with no medical history. You have no idea if the heart, the engine, or the lungs, the AC, are about to flatline. The why factor. Ask why they're selling. If the answer feels rehearsed, dig deeper. A stack of receipts is worth more than 1,000 verbal promises. And in the RV world, trust me, is the most expensive phrase you'll ever hear. Phase 3. The paperwork audit. Okay, so we got all the digital background checking done. So now we have the paperwork audit, which is phase 3. This is where my banking background is going to save your life. Not literally, maybe literally. The title is the soul of the machine. I call this the blender analogy. Okay, a rebuilt or salvaged title is like a car that's been through a blender and glued back together. It might look like a car, but the structural integrity is gone. It's a zombie rig. It's dead. It just doesn't know it yet. And most insurance companies won't touch them. And this is a good place to mention that. If you're wondering about the age or if the insurance companies will insure them, call an insurance company and ask, or shop it around and see if you can get a quote on it. If it's uninsurable, you need to walk away. The invisible passenger. Buying a rig with an undisclosed lien is like buying a steak dinner, but the waiter gives the steak to the guy at the next table. You paid for it, but the bank still owns the meat. To check on a lien or to check to see if it has a salvage title, you can call the DMV. All you need is the VIN number. Once again, if the seller wants to sell the RV and you ask him for the VIN and he won't give it to you, there's a problem. You need to get the VIN, and you can do a VIN check through this free service here, or you can call the DMV and you can ask them if there's any liens on it or if there is a salvage title on it. If any other banks are listed as lien holders, then you're going to have a problem, okay? The ID match. If the name on the title doesn't match the ID of the person in front of you, you're title jumping. It's illegal. It's a nightmare to register, and it usually means the seller is trying to dodge taxes or hide a flip, okay? If the title, the certificate of title has a name on it, and the person that's trying to sell it doesn't have a valid ID, walk away because it's a scam. Don't get fooled. You need the person who is on title to sell the RV to you. Simple as that. It's kind of common sense. Okay, phase 4, the 10-minute sniff test. Finally, you're there in person. Put the clipboard down and use your senses. The nose. Okay, you're going to want to smell when inside the RV. If it smells like a lumberjack's gym locker when you step inside and it smells like wet earth or a musty basement, that rig has stage 4 water damage. Sellers can use fresh paint to hide a stain, but they can't hide the scent of mold. And then you got the sponge test. Walk the perimeter, press your thumb into the walls near the windows and the floor near the corners. If it feels like a sponge, the frame is rotting. This is what I call the RV silent assassin. Water is an RV silent assassin. It doesn't scream. It just eats the wood and the metal until there's nothing left but the debt. If your gut and your nose says something is off, walk away. Walk away is your only superpower. Use it. You don't need to explain yourself. All you got to say is, no, I'm not interested, and you're done. Just walk back to your car and drive off. Once you find the rig that you want to buy, I heard this from somebody else and I thought it was great advice. Try to talk yourself out of it. Try to talk yourself out of it and take a night to sleep on it, okay? If you wake up the next morning and you still feel good about it, great. This might be the RV for you. And then another piece of advice that I have, before you hand over the money, you may want to think about doing an RV inspection. It's a few $100s, so you don't want to do it on every RV. But before you hand over $20,000 or $30,000, you might want to take a few $100s and hire an RV inspector. They will inspect it from the ground up. They'll check out the air conditioner, the structure, the roof to make sure there's no leaks. And RVs are going to have issues, so it's not going to be a clean inspection, but you just want to make sure there are no deal breakers. So as long as there are no deal breakers, something that is a structural problem or water damage, something that you can live without, then you might have found your RV that you want to buy, okay? So that would be my last ditch advice before you hand over the money. Now, don't let the new rig smell or the dream of the open road blind you to the reality of the math. You want a rig that carries your dreams, not the one that sinks your bank account. Now, once you've secured the right rig and you've dodged the scams, you have a new problem, living the dream without going broke. Most people overspend by 30% in their first year of travel because they don't have a road-tested budget. First, make sure you're subscribed because I got you covered. And don't hit that like button. Love on it. Show that like button some love. And finally, be sure to check out my full-time RV living budget video right here. I'm breaking down exactly how we live on the road and sharing 3 money leaks that could save you $2,000 this month alone. Don't let your bank account bleed out. I'm Madden King with Madden Mingo RVing, and I'll see you on the road. Madden King out. Peace.